Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dave and Sarah Travel. Today, we're going to discuss something. We're going to discuss what I think are common sense rules that I try to follow when it comes to miles and points. Reason why I think this is important is we all watch YouTube. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching me. And we see people who travel and the YouTube is filled with all these people who are doing this aspirational travel. They're flying in beyond first class. They're flying in private rooms on airplanes with showers and beds and everything. And they're staying in the Maldives at these amazing huts and that are out on the water. And they're doing all of this aspirational travel. Yeah, we'd all love to do that. And they'll tell you, oh, we made this possible. We only had to use 115,000 points to do it. And then you start looking at the fine print. And yeah, it was 115,000 points per person in one way, starting from somewhere that they wouldn't normally be starting from and going somewhere that they probably didn't have any reason to go. I always think that's important to keep things in proper perspective. Most of us do not earn 100,000 points a year in spend. We just don't spend enough. We may get a card that'll give us 100,000 on a sign-up bonus, or we may get a couple cards. It all depends on how much we spend and trying to do it the right way. So before I begin, I use the words common sense in this, and that reminds me of a quote that my mother said forever and ever while I was growing up, and that is, common sense ain't so common, which means people aren't always going to do what they should be doing. And so what is right for me might not be right for you. It is something that I want to convey. I'm telling you what works for me. Before we go too much further, I want to clarify something that I might get a little confusing in here, and that is the difference between miles and points, which if you're an American with credit cards, probably you have miles and points somewhere. Whether if you've flown, you've got some miles on an airline. If you use a credit card, like a Chase card, whatever, you may have points or something, if you haven't gone fully cash back. And then you have the miles and points game. And the game is when you specifically go out to get cards to accumulate points that give you what you want to have. For example, I have the IHG card. The reason why the IHG card makes sense to me, I get preferred status right away, and I get to go every year. I will get a free room voucher, which pays for the $99 annual fee for the card. I'm always trying to make sure, am I talking about miles and points, or am I talking about playing the game? Because you may not want to play the game, but there's still value in knowing how to use your miles and points. Rule number 1, if you carry a balance on your credit cards, you should not be playing the game. You shouldn't be playing the points and miles game. This is the single most important rule, and this is something that I rarely see out there on the internet, on YouTube, on these videos. Everyone's always telling you, get this card, get these points, travel here. If you're paying 20 to 30% interest on your card, then you are paying for those points. Whereas if you pay off your card every month and you don't carry a balance, then you are getting points for free as a perk. And it's a huge difference. So this is just, again, this is how it works for me. I was raised to never carry a balance on a credit card. I have never paid one dime in interest on a credit card. So that is rule number 1. Rule number 2, know the value of your points. Not all points are created equal. Whenever I look at it, I see Chase points. Chase points are worth about 4 times the value of a Hilton point or an IHG point. So we need to know what they're worth, and there are calculation charts. Some airlines offer great redemptions for their miles, others, not so much. And what this also will lead to is it means don't chase big numbers. If there's 2 companies out there and you're trying to figure out which card to get, go for the one that will give you the best value relative to their normal. It's not on my list here, but basically never get a card unless they have a advanced sign-up bonus, something that is bigger than normal. Whenever I do this, I always try to focus on the value, and I'm a bit of a math nerd. I do the math on everything. So I focus on the value of the return of the card, and that's key and critical. Rule number 3, know the rules of the program. And by program, I mean credit card. Know the rules of the cards that you have. Some cards have the points will expire. Some cards require you to make your redemptions by a certain date, or there are limitations as to how many rooms a hotel will offer up by points, or how many seats that an airline will allow you to use miles to get on a certain flight. So if you don't understand the rules of the program, how things are redeemed, you're going to make mistakes. And mistakes cost money. And we're back to doing the math, knowing the value of what you have, and making sure that you get the most out of it. It is just absolutely vital. Rule number 4 is don't chase what you won't use. And this one is pretty important. This one and the next rule very much go hand in hand. For example, I get information about a credit card that goes out and it has a 100,000 point offer, 120,000 point offer for a hotel chain. If I never stay at that hotel, what good is 100,000 points for me? Or if I never fly that airline, I've never flown Spirit, what good would getting a Spirit card or doing things to get Spirit points do for me? So don't chase it just because it's a big number. Again, I always keep an eye on sign-up bonuses, and I'm going to tell you, I have many times been very tempted to get a card because of the sign-up bonus, and all of a sudden it dawns on me, why would I get that? And that leads to number 5. Know yourself as a traveler. Sarah and I love to travel. We love either going to relaxing beach towns and just chilling and listening to music. Sometimes we'll go to Europe and we'll do a 90 miles an hour with our hair on fire. That was fun for us. That's not going to be fun for everybody. I don't like all-inclusive resorts. Sarah doesn't really either. At this point, we've been to 2 or 3 of them. And they're fun for a day. Some of my best friends absolutely love all-inclusives. The more that I learn about what I like and dislike about travel, or within travel, the easier it is for me to know what cards and programs I want to use or need to use. And then, so rule number 6, stay organized. This one is primarily about playing the game of miles and points. It is not about how you're going to redeem your points. I'm a bit OCD when it comes to financial things. I like spreadsheets. I think being OCD about finances and financial things is a good thing to be OCD about. And points and miles are a financial vehicle. So I keep tabs on those. And for me, what really works out well is to, every time I apply for a card, I put it into a spreadsheet. I put in the card name. So Chase Sapphire Preferred. I put the date that I apply. I put the date that I got the card. I put the approximate date that the sign-up bonus spend is due. So if they give you 3 months to spend $5,000, You better have it done by then. I also keep tabs on anything that may have a date that the points are going to expire. And fortunately, most of them don't expire, but I always want to know the ones that do. And those are really key critical things for being successful in playing the points and miles game. Rule number 7, maximize your redemptions and understand timing. This should be called the know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em rule, because this is all about knowing when to use your points, because sometimes your value is just not there and it's better to use cash or money as opposed to points. This rule is not about playing the game. This is just maximizing the points that you have. So looking at peak versus off-peak versus shoulder season when traveling can have a huge impact on how many points you're going to spend for airfare, for a hotel room, for whatever you're going to use them on. Sometimes there's amazing last-minute deals. Sometimes there's great transfer bonuses. There's a lot of different things in play, and all of them can go and help you maximize your redemption value. Rule number 8, don't be a hoarder. Out of all the rules, this is the one I break. I overvalue my points. Companies devalue their points, just like they devalue currency by raising the price of a room. So you're getting the same room for more money. So this room used to be $100. Now it's $150. If you had $1,000 6 years ago in cash and you stuck it in a box, and today you went to go and spend it, you wouldn't get as much value for it as if you spent only $800 back 6 years ago. So don't be a hoarder. Don't do what I do, which is I need to use my points. Rule number 9, optimize my spending. So most of the time, we're not paying off a sign-up bonus. When we're not paying off a sign-up bonus, different cards offer different value for your spend. So some cards offer 5x on gas. Some offer 10x at a restaurant or 5x at a grocery store. You need to understand the value of your spend. So if I got 5 IHG points for going and shopping at Walmart versus getting 5 Chase points for shopping at Walmart, I will always take the Chase points because they have a lot more value. The whole point of points and miles in general is to be able to make your dollars go further. Rule number 10, and this is another one that I struggle with sometimes, stay flexible. I want to go to Thailand. I'd really like to go in December, but it's way too expensive for us to go in December because that is peak season. Everyone wants to be there for Christmas and New Year's and see all the fireworks and all the things in Bangkok or in the other cities. So that one is out of our budget in both points and miles as well as in money. So we're going to find another time to be able to go. That flexibility will help us in that we're not just locked into one singular idea. There are some things that you don't have any ability to change. For example, one thing on our bucket list is I really want to go see the final stage of the Tour de France. That is a bucket list item for me. That only happens one day a year. So I know that if I'm going to fulfill that one, I'm going to end up probably spending a fortune getting a hotel room for that stay. When Points and Miles was very new, you could buy coins with a credit card and then take them to the bank, cash them in to your account, pay off your credit card, but you would end up with the points for what you spent. Obviously, that no longer works because that is a very easy circumvention of the rules for them. I always try to stay informed. I try to be prepared to pivot. So there you have it. That's my 10 common sense rules for playing the miles and points game or using miles and points. It's the system that works for me. And hopefully, something that I said here will resonate with you and be helpful for you. I do have a lot of videos coming that will go deeper into each one of these rules and explain a lot more. If you've enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell. If you've got tips that I haven't put in here, leave them in the comments. This is an ever-growing, ever-learning game. I enjoy the game. I find great pleasure in trying to figure out how to get the most for my money. Thank you for watching. Remember, you don't have to be rich to travel well.